relief for Rahul Gandhi in the Modi surname defamation case is concerned. What has happened is the Supreme Court has decided to stay the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. So that disqualification from the Parliament also now can be taken away.
The Speaker's office now has to take the decision on whether, basis the stay, they can reinstate Rahul Gandhi as a member of Parliament.
The Supreme Court verdict today has really will be remembered for a long time in the way, despite all the things that were said and perhaps some other politics involved in it, but the courts have lived up to their reputation, and it has again restored the great faith that we have in our judicial system.
As far as the Speaker's office is concerned, they are saying we don't do politics over it, we merely follow the procedure. In fact, the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi was also on the basis of a law which was passed.
Immediate order copy of that particular case was made by Mr. Singhvi. We might see that the orders might come in by evening, which is the general procedure at the Supreme Court, and they're usually uploaded on the Supreme Court website, and then the orders can be sent to the Lok Sabha Secretariat.
Good evening. Thanks a lot for staying with us here at CNN News 18. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Ridhima Bhatnagar. Lots lined up for you over the next 60 minutes. Let's begin with the big political story that we are tracking. There is supreme relief for Rahul Gandhi as the Supreme Court today has stayed his conviction in connection with the Modi surname defamation case, which, as you would remember, had led to Rahul Gandhi's disqualification as an MP. But this big relief that has now come in from the top court means that Rahul Gandhi can now be an MP again. He can reapproach the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla to be reinstated as a member of Parliament. You would remember that he had approached the Supreme Court challenging the Gujarat High Court's order dismissing his application to stay the conviction of case against him. Remember, he was convicted in connection with the 2019 Lok Sabha campaign remark. We had referred to people like Nirav and Lalit Modi asking why are all thieves with the same surname. Once Rahul Gandhi gets reinstated, he can rejoin Parliament and then contest elections. Now, the big question is how soon will the Speaker reinstate Rahul Gandhi, and what will this mean for the big fight of 2024? We will take that question to our colleagues and guests in just a bit, but let's just give you an overview in terms of the big takeaways of what this means for Rahul Gandhi and also for the opposition going forward. The first big takeaway is that Rahul Gandhi can now be reinstated as a Lok Sabha MP. The immediate step for the Congress will be to approach the Lok Sabha Speaker and ask him to reinstate Rahul Gandhi. The question is, how quickly will this actually be done? The second big takeaway is no by-election for Rahul Gandhi's Wayanad seat. The direct elections will be for 2024. As I pointed out, Rahul Gandhi can now fight the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. As I pointed out, the opposition will be seeing this as a big fillip for them to take on the NDA. The other takeaway is Rahul may also now take part as far as the no trust motion is concerned. Remember, the opposition has been criticizing the government as far as the Manipur issue is concerned, and they've wanted a dedicated discussion on that matter. The other takeaway is, as I pointed out earlier, this will in fact now boost the opposition that has come together under the alliance name INDIA India as they take on their fight against the NDA. Many reactions coming in from the Congress who've gone on to say there might have been delayed justice, but it has come and we will use this now to fight the BJP for 2024. We also got the first reaction coming in from Rahul Gandhi post this big relief from the Supreme Court. Let's listen in.
आज नहीं तो कल, कल नहीं तो परसों सच्चाई की जीत होती है। मगर जो भी हो, मेरा रास्ता तो क्लियर है। मुझे क्या करना है, मेरा क्या काम है, उसके बारे में मेरे दिमाग में बिल्कुल क्लैरिटी है। जिन लोगों ने हमारी मदद की और जनता ने जो प्यार और सपोर्ट दिया, उसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं।
डेमोक्रेसी की जीत हो गई, संविधान की जीत हो गई, सत्यमेव जयते जो हमारा नेशनल सिंबल के नीचे लिखा हुआ रहता है, वो उसका जीत आज हुआ है। इसलिए हम सारे लोग खुश हैं, शायद आप भी खुश होंगे, क्योंकि अभी आगे हमारा लड़ाई जारी रहने वाला है। तो इसलिए मैं इतना ही कहूँगा कि ये लोगों की जीत है, वोटरों की जीत है और वायनाड के नागरिकों की और वोटर की ये जीत है। वहाँ के लोग भी बड़े खुश हैं।
I also now want to bring in our colleague and senior editor Pallavi Ghosh, who in fact is now joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, a big relief coming in for Rahul Gandhi, but all eyes now will be on how soon the Congress approaches the Lok Sabha Speaker and how soon the Speaker reinstates him as Member of Parliament. What are you hearing from the Congress? How soon before they approach the Speaker?
So they've already approached the Speaker. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has gone on record to say that they've approached the Speaker, but there's a procedure in place, and that procedure is very simple, that a copy of the court order will have to be accessed by the Speaker. He goes through it, and it's then after that a reinstatement of the disqualified Member of Parliament takes place. But in some cases, I remember the proceedings of the Puducherry MP it had taken a substantial amount of time, and therefore he had decided to approach the Supreme Court, but it was suddenly revoked and he was reinstated as a Member of Parliament. Congress party doesn't want that to happen, which is why even at the press conference, Mr. Kharge said that with the promptness with which you disqualified him, with the same amount of promptness, he should also be brought back. In an ideal situation, the Congress would want him to be back in the last week of the monsoon session of Parliament, which is Monday. And then, of course, he would also want him to be a part of the no confidence motion, in the sense that be a speaker on behalf of the Congress party at the no confidence motion. We'll have to wait to see whether that's really going to be happening. And it's a political battle. But I think the bigger news really also for the Congress is that finally Rahul Gandhi can actually contest the Lok Sabha elections of 2024.
Pallavi, we'll have to leave that conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Let's also now bring in our guests. We have the Congress spokesperson, Radhika Khera. We have a lawyer, Swapnil Kothari, and we also have political analyst Deshratan Nigam joining us this evening. Good to have all of you with us here on CNN News 18. Radhika, I'd like to begin the conversation with you. How is the Congress today feeling? We're getting multiple reactions coming in saying justice might have been delayed, but it's been delivered.
Absolutely, justice has been delivered. And Ridhima, what is most important is that when the entire opposition is fighting for that, the fact that democracy continues in the country, this is a very welcome and something that was going to give us even much more energy to fight for the people. And what is most important, like Pallavi was also saying, I'd like to take that forward. The same way that they were so in a hurry to make Rahul Gandhi ji, leave his house. They were in a hurry to ensure that he does not stay even one more day in that house. They were in a hurry to, ensure that he does not attend Parliament. Although we don't expect that the Bharatiya Janata Party will do that, but if they have any shame left, I would like to use that word, if they have even, chullu bhar bhi sharam reh gayi hai agar, so they will immediately reinstate him and they will ensure that he is there for the no confidence motion and when the Prime Minister is speaking, and also they will immediately give him his house back with the same respect that he deserves. They're not disrespecting him. All those MPs of the Janata Party in Lok Sabha and all those people, it's a tight slap on every person's face who came on and criticized Rahul Gandhi ji and tried to make this false narrative that the Bharatiya Janata Party created with the leader of the IT cell, Amit Malviya, posting all sorts of nonsense and trying to defame Rahul Gandhi ji. So it is and also I welcome the stand that the Supreme Court has taken and has also given it out to for the public to see and know how the faisla of the court was earlier and how the maximum punishment was given for no reason. There have been other instances also, and the way that the Bharatiya Janata Party tried to portray even the Prime Minister in their speeches.
But Radhika, not taking away from anything that you said, that yes, it's a big relief. Yes, questions have been asked as far as the maximum punishment was concerned. But the court has also been very, very categorical and in a way chided Rahul Gandhi in the language that he has spoken, that he should have known better. He is a public figure. That is also something that the Congress will have to keep in mind going forward.
Absolutely. The Supreme Court has said that. But I'm not trying to justify anything, but he has not said anything which is similar to 50 crore ki girlfriend. He has not said anything similar to Congress ki vidwa, Jersey guy, which was used for Sonia ji, and the hybrid bachra, which was used for Rahul ji, and the kind of abuses that we've seen coming from the Prime Minister himself, who has insulted the chair he sits in by saying that Purva Pradhan Mantri Dr. Manmohan Singh raincoat pehen ke nahate hain. I hope that the Prime Minister and his entire government also learn something
Okay.
and try to change the way that they talk. It is again, like I would say, these are the kind of things that are now, if you go back to time, the kind of, if you see parliament proceedings of when the UPA was in power, the kind of, the discussions that were there, nobody ever used this kind of language. And here again, Rahul Gandhi ji has not abused anyone.
Okay.
We have to be very, he has not used any kind of language. He just said a normal thing.
Okay.
And again, like the defamation, he has not said anything which has harmed anyone.
Yeah.
Defamation means that it has affected me personally, or
Yeah.
if you file in a case, affected you personally. It has not harmed anyone.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister has gone on to say so many things.
Okay. Point made, Radhika. But as I said, that is something that the Congress will have to keep in mind, specifically Rahul Gandhi, as he goes forward. Deshrata Nigam, I'd like to bring you also in the conversation. The Congress is saying, yes, justice has been delayed, but it's been delivered. They're also hitting out at the BJP, saying that you can create whatever sort of false narrative you want. Ultimately, the justice has been delivered from the top court.
Ridhima, in fact, the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi took place on account of refusal of stay of conviction by the Sessions Court, which was challenged in the High Court, which did not interfere with that decision. And then they came to the Supreme Court. That conviction has been stayed, but the final word on justice is yet to be delivered in appeal by the Sessions Court. So there is to say that the justice has been done, the final, and suppose, for example, if the judgment of the Sessions Court comes before the 2024 elections, then what? Please ponder on that question. Then the entire disqualification will come into the picture again. So today they have got an interim relief, and this will all subject to the appeal in the Sessions Court, which is still pending, where they have already challenged. So to jump now is something. It's fine, but what was argued in Supreme Court? 2 years punishment is too harsh. Lesser punishment should have been given. Yes, I am guilty of what I have done, but lesser punishment should have been given. So then this disqualification from the Lok Sabha membership would not have come, and he would have contested the election. This was the crux of the argument before Supreme Court. You admit the guilt on one hand, subject to the outcome of the appeal, and then you say justice has been done. I mean, I find this very ironical. This is just an interim relief. Obviously, the real word will come, real justice will come when this appeal in the Sessions Court is decided against the trial court order.
But Deshrata Nigam, before I bring Swapnil in, also you would also agree for politics, optics is almost 50% as far as the story is concerned. And the Congress and the United Opposition today will want to make this point that this is a false narrative that was built as far as the BJP is concerned. Today we've seen multiple reactions that have come in from the Congress, who are extremely confident that this will now mean the end or the defeat as far as the BJP is concerned. The opposition is saying this will just add another fillip as far as our strength to take on the NDA is concerned.
Ridhima, in fact, I am fine if the Congress thinks that Rahul Gandhi today has a level playing field with the BJP, good enough. Let them contest it out on the roads, on the fields and in rallies. But I am sure BJP is well equipped to handle such a situation. Prime Minister is well equipped, the President of the BJP is well equipped, and the NDA is well equipped. And the numbers and the strength, as we saw in the Lok Sabha during Delhi Ordnance, Delhi Services Bill, is a clear indication. Even the path is quite clear in the Raj Sabha. So I don't think there is any issue as of now. Yes, political battles will have to be, fought in political arena. And all the best to Rahul Gandhi if he thinks he's got a level playing field now.
Okay. Swapnil, I want to bring you in, and I just want to, break down this entire story for our viewers better from a legal perspective. If I understand this correctly, what we've heard from the court is only a stay as far as the conviction is concerned and not the disqualification. One, is that correct? Secondly, could you talk to us about what is the next legal steps that the Congress and Rahul Gandhi's team will have to take to ensure that his status as an MP is reinstated?
Well, I think, first of all, you're absolutely right. It is correct to say that the stay means you render the conviction. A stay on conviction renders the conviction non-operative. It doesn't render the conviction non-existent. For that, the conviction has to be quashed. Now, it has been shunted back to the Sessions Court, where the appeal was made. Now, the appeal will be heard de novo, with all arguments which were put in place. Today, the thrust of the argument was that basically the stay on conviction should be there because 2 years was supposedly arbitrary. It was a maximum punishment under Section 500 IPC. And that's the reason there were no cogent reasons behind that particular sentencing. So what craftily the council tried to do was obviously plant a doubt in the minds of the judge, saying that this was possibly done with a political objective in mind, although it was given by the court. And court judges can, have a little bit of, or it was done arbitrarily, as the word that we use, not with any objective, but arbitrarily, where there was no reason given behind 2 years. So that is the reason which has impacted his Lok Sabha standing. Now, having said that, what the appeal will decide will be actually whether or not the statement made by Mr. Gandhi fell within the four corners of section 499 IPC, which is defamation. Now, to me, when you make a statement saying that all Modis are like this or like that, obviously you may not take the name of someone, but we all know to whom it refers to. Primarily, these are called innuendos in law. And innuendos do form part of the defamation, the law of defamation. Now, to say that the BJP may have done similar things, obviously Congress is free to file similar cases against the BJP people who make these kind of inappropriate or intemperate remarks. Now, the thing is that as far as the second part is concerned, going forward, what does Mr. Rahul Gandhi do? I don't think, looking at the larger picture, 2024 elections are going to be impacted in any manner. Because I think BJP is going to, literally cruise through as far as that particular point is concerned. Because this one particular decision, even if its conviction was quashed, makes no difference, because other than that, you need political mileage, you need political achievement. Now, as far as going forward on the legal aspect is concerned, what the Lok Sabha needs to do, it needs to wait for a copy of the order. To my knowledge, a stay on the conviction does not automatically entitle anybody back into the Lok Sabha. You need to be very cautious before you tread that ground. Otherwise, you will have the petitioner going back to the court, to the Supreme Court. My advice would be to the defense team that please go back to the Supreme Court even after you get an order in the hand and go for a clarification of the order, asking that whether or not we should go back. And most likely the Supreme Court will say that is the decision that the political authorities need to make. It is not going to comment on that. It will say you interpret Representation of People Act. First of all, this matter is not before us. It's only this limited.
So if I understand what Swapnil is saying in a nutshell, that this is an interim relief and the Congress might be celebrating a little too early in the day. Radhika, I want to bring you back in the conversation. Both Deshratan Nigam, who's donning the hat of a legal eagle, as well as a political analyst, and Swapnil seem to be suggesting that the Congress might be celebrating a little too early in the day because this is only an interim breather. That's one that I want to understand. Secondly, I want to understand what is the Congress today looking forward by the Speaker, because when the Speaker had disqualified Rahul Gandhi, the biggest criticism that came from the Congress was that look at the speed and the manner in which this disqualification has happened. Is the Congress now accepting or expecting the same sort of speed and expedition to be used by the Speaker once Rahul Gandhi needs to be reinstated as well?
I had said that initially, Vidhima, that we are hoping that they would do everything again with the same speed that they were in a hurry to disqualify him, hurry to make him leave his house when there are so many members of parliament and who are not members of parliament. Like we have the example of Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad Sahab, who is still in his house. He has not been asked to vacate it. But they were very in a quick hurry to, because they wanted to, like I said, they wanted to spend that fake agenda. And as far as my legal knowledge is concerned, he will be reinstated. And I'm a student of law as well. Maybe I'm wrong, but as far as my knowledge is concerned, he will be reinstated. And that is what has been told also. And the rest, what has to be done, his legal teams will take the necessary steps and we will abide by the law. We have always abided by the law. But again, I would say this is a big tight slap on every person who had tried to make actually tried to defame Rahul Gandhi ji by trying to portray that he has done something extremely wrong, and that then they said that he should be given the maximum punishment, and even the Supreme Court has read that out. If you read what they have said to the previous court and what they have said, I have the copy here. We can read it out, and they've clearly mentioned that one such a long reply as the previous judge has given, with due respect to the previous honorable judge. But these are certain things that that false narrative, like I would say again, that people were made to believe that Rahul Gandhi ji has done a major crime and he has defamed the entire community and tried to play the community card over here. We saw how they tried to bring in religion into politics, bring in community into politics. This is a slap on the community, the kind of politics that the Bharatiya Janata Party and Modi is saying. If they have the numbers, if the people have voted for, they should respect the decision of the people and not try to defame and other political leaders to challenge the intelligence of their voters.
Yeah.
They should believe their voters if they are working well. They don't have to defame Rahul Gandhi ji or any other opposition leader. If Modi ji is doing his work, if he has managed to control the Hinsa in Manipur, if he has managed to control the Hinsa in Haryana, then why does he have to attack the... You should, speak with your word.
So, Radhika, I'll speak to you as far as how big a fillip this will be, politically speaking, going forward as far as the Congress party is concerned. But before that, I want to bring Deshratan Nigam back in the conversation just in terms of what we heard from the court today. While Deshratan Nigam, this is what I was telling Radhika earlier in the conversation, that the top court did chide Rahul Gandhi for the remarks and the kind of tone that he used for his remarks and possibly given him a warning that this is not how a public figure should speak. The other important factor is, as Radhika was also pointing out, this entire aspect of a maximum punishment of 2 years. Was this really needed in the first place? Because that one example that has been quoted by the Congress time and again is an example of an MP from Lakshadweep who had a similar process and then he was reinstated. They're questioning the manner and the speed the entire process has happened for Rahul Gandhi, indicating that there was a larger political vendetta at play.
Well, Ridhiba, in fact, one should praise the Indian judiciary. At least it started working in an earnest manner and without any delay. And especially where the responsible leaders of a political parties are involved, because it sets an example. And the way this trial court has passed the judgment, it has done so. And all these questions, whether maximum punishment should have been given or not, this all will be decided in appeal. And Supreme Court has just given a kind of an interim relief to him. And therefore, and especially they have also noted Rahul Gandhi's conduct in other cases also, because they have noted so many cases are pending against him. And believe me, if some convictions come in those, then the attitude of Supreme Court would be slightly different. Because this is the first case for Rahul Gandhi, it has come to Supreme Court. Now, if other convictions also take place, and then the matter comes to the Supreme Court after the Sessions Court has decided, probably the judges will have a different take on the subject.
Sure.
So as of now, I believe it's an interim relief, and let the Rahul Gandhi and Congress party celebrate as much they want to, and probably they have a reason and a cause to do so. But the fact remains, the final and the last word is still to be heard in this case.
Okay. So, Swapnil, I just want to understand when Deshratan Nigam and, even when the Congress is speaking as far as the maximum punishment is concerned, do we have a past precedent? Is it a possibility that punishment will now be reduced going forward? What happens as far as the quantum of punishment is concerned?
Well, that aspect, Ridhima, can be considered by the appellate court, that is the Sessions Court, and the Sessions Court could remit the sentence from 2 years. But for that, it needs to find him guilty, firstly, of defamation. Now, as I said that, as I was wanting to say that there are other cases which are pending against him. And that is the reason why the court took this kind of a view, the trial court, that, look, I think this guy needs to be told that this is 2 years and this is what it is. And the Sessions Court may say that, no, let's view this case in a different light. Assuming that this was just the first case, I believe the Sessions Court, or rather the trial court, could have just sent him off with a reprimand.
Okay.
But if there are other cases, obviously this has said that, no, this is going a little bit too far. I think we need to call the shots and we need to convict him and we need to sentence him.
Okay.
Now, as far as the maximum part of the sentencing is concerned, that is something which the court can revisit it. Now, I believe that Supreme Court is only given a question for the Sessions Court to ponder over.
Okay.
Now, if the Sessions Court is fully free either to ignore that remark or even take that into account, but I believe that when it looks at everything together, it may well say that, look, it may just come down from 2 years down to 1 year. And, this is assuming that it finds him guilty of defamation, which I believe it will.
Okay.
Because there is innuendo, as I said. You cannot make statements, especially when you are in a position of power. And I would say the same thing for any MP belonging to any party.
Sure.
They need to be more circumspect about making any such statement, loose remarks that really, really hurt. And then, of course, all political parties, when they succeed or they lose, they're going to, the losing party, the winning party is always going to make try to take maximum mileage out of it.
Okay, that's just the clarity that I wanted. But Radhika, coming back to you and speaking as far as how the Congress wants to use this politically going forward. Yes, today we're seeing many reactions coming in from your newly formed alliance called India, with the likes of Mamata Banerjee and others who are saying this is going to add a great fillip as we take on the NDA for 2024. But people like Deshratan Nigam and many within the BJP are saying whether this disqualification stays or doesn't stay, it's not going to change much on the ground, because Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party just doesn't have the kind of clout to take on the BJP. So whether the conviction stays, doesn't stay, nothing much is going to change on the ground.
Well, Ridhima, let me make this very clear and with great responsibility. The moment that the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court, stayed Rahul Gandhi's conviction, his qualification got lifted. Once the disqualification is lifted, he becomes a member again, and the Lok Sabha Secretariat has to notify it on the basis of the court order. And the grant of the stay by the Supreme Court, that essentially means that Rahul Gandhi's conviction will be kept in abeyance. That means as though it did not exist. So all these things that are going to come in question, the Bharatiya Janata Party is going to say that no, you should wait, there's another case going on. Agreed, the Surat Session Court is currently hearing an appeal against the trial court judgment convicting him. But as per Supreme Court's order today, Rahulji's conviction is stayed, and until that appeal process is concluded. Now, next thing. Now, when you talk about Rahul Gandhi's clout or anything, well, how rattled the Bharatiya Janata Party was after the Bharat Jodo Yatra concluded, we saw that. We saw the results coming out in Karnataka. Those people who were always claiming and always saying, Congress Mukt Bharat banayenge. Filhal, Dakshin Bharat Bharatiya Janata Party se mukt ho chuka hai. So what is happening is very clear. And we have elections coming up again. And Bharatiya Janata Party has not been able to maintain Karnataka. They have not been able to retain Delhi. The Nigam Chunav. Now coming back, we have Rajasthan, which is just a couple of months away. We have Chhattisgarh, we have Madhya Pradesh. Everyone will see what is happening. And ठीक है, ये तो कहेंगे ही, but it's very strange coming from a Prime Minister's party who's so scared for the Prime Minister to come and even talk about Manipur. I think instead of focusing the entire energy, the Bharatiya Janata Party should stop focusing the energy on Rahul Gandhi and focus on Manipur and Haryana. Our country is burning. The Prime Minister
confident Congress saying that this will add great fillip as far as the political fortunes of the party is concerned, and they feel the BJP is just rattled today. Unfortunately, I will have to leave that conversation there. Radhika Khera, Swapnil Kothari and Deshratan Nigam, always a pleasure speaking to all of you. This is the big story that we'll keep tracking. For now, we're slipping into a very short break.
Big day for Rahul Gandhi. It's practically going to be defining his political future, and that there are constant deliberations that are coming out of the court. And from what our colleague Ananya has been reporting, what can we expect today?
So there's more information which is coming in, and this is Supreme Court stays the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. That's the big news which is coming in. Ananya Bhatnagar has just got this news for us.
This is a big breaking news, yes.
A huge relief for Rahul Gandhi.
All right, so we will just put this out for our viewers. Supreme Court has stayed the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. It's a big relief for Rahul Gandhi in the Modi surname defamation case is concerned. What has happened is the Supreme Court has decided to stay the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. So that disqualification from the parliament also now can be taken away, and there you have it. The maximum sentence was given by a Surat court, which is now being stayed by the apex court of the country. Supreme Court there staying the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. Big relief for the Congress leader. Remember, this afternoon is when the Supreme Court had started hearing the Rahul Gandhi case, where it was challenging the Gujarat High Court's verdict that declined to put a hold on his conviction in the defamation case over the Modi surname remark. Earlier this year, Rahul Gandhi was disqualified as an MP for his comments that were linked to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Remember, he had made those comments while he was in Gujarat 2 years ago, in 2019 in fact, and that defamation case was filed from, I believe, in Bihar, and that's where, in Gujarat, and that's how the case really reached the Surat courts, and after no...
Initially onwards that this is the maximum punishment to disqualify Rahul Gandhi from the Lok Sabha. Entire episode was started when Rahul Gandhi speak about Adani-Modi relations in Parliament. Now, Supreme Court also, I think, sir, in the interim judgment, granting stay, conviction stay, they also telling that this maximum punishment is actually something to disqualify.
Are you happy with that order, sir?
Definitely, you know that we are believing in the legal procedure of this higher system. What we got from Gujarat, this is totally a different verdict.
सर सुप्रीम कोर्ट की ओर से आज जो राहत मिली है राहुल गांधी को, लंबे समय से कांग्रेस पार्टी मांग कर रही थी, क्या कहना है सर आज जो ये वर्डिक्ट आया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट का?
We will, our spokesperson will give details. Don't worry. Okay. First reaction is already we are welcoming this decision of stay of conviction.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so that was the first reaction from...
My colleague Ananya is now joining us live from outside the court premises. Ananya, there's a big piece of news for Rahul Gandhi and the supporters of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party. Next step is that he's going to be reinstated in the parliament. But right for now, the apex court staying that conviction of Rahul Gandhi that was held by all the other courts, the Gujarat High Court and before that the Surat Court. Just take us through all of that that has happened inside the apex court today.
Well, definitely the Supreme Court had heard this matter for a long time today, and in fact for almost half the pre-lunch session. And very, very clearly now Rahul Gandhi has been granted that particular relief that he had been waiting for since court to court. This was his third appeal, if you remember. First it was rejected by the Gujarat Sessions Court and then by the High Court itself. And in fact the District Court had also refused to stay his conviction in that particular case, though a suspension of sentence was granted. But now finally that relief comes in for the former Congress president. Now what does it mean for Rahul Gandhi? Number one is that he can go back to the Lok Sabha Secretariat and say that, you know, since my conviction has now been stayed in this particular case, please reinstate me as a member of the parliament. The people of Wayanad might be really happy because, you know, he was representing the people of Wayanad, and the voice of Wayanad would be back in the parliament is what is the view, you know, in a general public. And also, very, very importantly, you know, Rahul Gandhi can now fight the 2024 elections. Very, very clearly, this is a big relief, a huge relief that Rahul Gandhi has been, you know, waiting for since the last few days. Though he had, on the political spectrum, he had used this opportunity to, you know, say, and in fact his Twitter bio also used to say that he was a disqualified MP. But now finally that disqualification can go away. He can go back to, in fact, you know, the Lok Sabha Secretariat, can ask the Speaker and the Lok Sabha chairman to actually say that, you know, since my conviction has now been stayed, he can be reinstated.
And Rahul Gandhi's Modi surname defamation case has reached the apex court of the country. The Supreme Court at the moment is dictating the order in that very case on the remarks. Remember, Rahul Gandhi had earlier said that it's bizarre to ask me to apologize in the Modi surname case. Today, the Supreme Court has taken up the case that has reached the apex court at the moment. They are now dictating the order. Let's take this across to my colleague Pallavi Ghosh, who's joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, this is the last-ditch attempt for Rahul Gandhi. We will get to know whether or not that entire conviction stays in this case. It's a big day for him. What are you learning that's coming out of the court?
In fact, we are waiting for the final order to come through, but my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar, who's very much inside the court, is awaiting, and he's giving us some information. And just to quote from what he has given, that basically, according to what he's reporting, is that the court has said that an appeal filed by the appellant is pending in the Sessions Court, and so far as the stake of conviction and sentencing is concerned, we have considered some factors. So we're just going to wait for what Ananya has to give us some more. But it's certainly going to be a very, very big day for Rahul Gandhi. Gandhi. His political future also hinges on this. Remember, consistently Rahul Gandhi's lawyers have made the point that he never actually said anything against any community. He was talking specifically in the context of Lalit Modi and Nirav Modi, both of whom do not belong to the OBC community. And second, the punishment given out to him is in far excess of the so-called crime. If you remember the last hearing which took place in Supreme Court, Rahul Gandhi through his lawyers had clearly made the point, I am not going to be apologizing because I have not said or done anything wrong. What does it really mean? In case the conviction is scratched, he could be reinstated as a member of parliament.
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. We're getting some breaking developments now coming in. There is now a new face-off that is erupted over the Aam Aadmi Party's Mohalla clinics. Dinesh Gundu Rao, who is a Karnataka minister, in fact, has now tweeted saying, visited a Mohalla clinic in Delhi with hardly any people there. He has further gone on to claim that clinics in Karnataka have more facilities. He called the Mohalla clinics of AAP overhyped. How should we actually see this? A Karnataka minister visiting a Mohalla clinic in the national capital saying, one, there were not too many people there. It was fairly empty. He's also gone on to say that Karnataka has better facilities. He's also saying Delhi's Mohalla clinics are overhyped. Let's also now bring in our colleague and senior editor Pallavi Ghosh, who's joining us. Pallavi, the BJP time and again has been saying that all this opposition unity is only for optics, but in reality, they can't see eye to eye. Just look at the tweet that has been put out by Dinesh Gundu Rao, who's saying that, Mohalla clinics in Karnataka are better, facilities are better, the AAP's Mohalla clinics are overhyped.
Well, on any other time or any other occasion, Ridhima, this certainly would have been a good opportunity for the Congress party to hit out at what has been the flagship program of the Delhi government and of the Aam Aadmi Party. But this is certainly a bad time and bad optics as far as opposition unity talks are concerned. See, two unlikely parties, the AAP and the Congress, came together on the issue of the Delhi Ordinance Bill. Now, that bill has been cleared in Lok Sabha. It's going to be coming up for passage in the Rajya Sabha. And again, when Rajya Sabha, you certainly have more members of parliament, you are going to see that bonhomie on both the sides. But here's the problem over here. You have a high-profile minister in the Karnataka government taking a pot shot at another high-profile minister in the Delhi government on one of the most favorite themes, and which is going to be the crux of the Aam Aadmi Party in the upcoming state elections or the Lok Sabha elections, and that is as far as the Mohalla clinics goes. Forget what the BJP is saying and reacting, but naturally they are very gung-ho about it, and they are taking pot shots at this entire idea of India Front Alliance. Remember, the Home Minister yesterday also had taken a pot shot by saying that, this is the bill which has brought all of you together. Dekhte hain baad mein kya hota hai.
Yeah.
This is certainly going to give an opportunity to raise question marks even within AAP, that was it right to actually take support from the Congress party. So I don't think it's going to go down very well in terms of optics.
Pallavi, we'll have to leave that conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Let's take in some political reactions as well from the BJP. We have S. Prakash now joining us. So good to have you with us here on CNN News 18. How do you see the tweet that has been put out with Dinesh Gundu Rao?
No, an opportunity alliance uncomfortably together in Bangalore, and it is completely now stands exposed in Delhi. The Mohalla clinic, wherein Mr. Dinesh Gundu Rao, the Karnataka Health Minister, was invited by the Aam Aadmi Party government to visit the Mohalla clinic. After visiting, he has said it does not inspire him, and Karnataka Namma clinic is far more better than the Aam Aadmi Party Mohalla clinic, which is overhyped. At last, the Congress party, one of them is realizing the worth of the Aam Aadmi Party's fake narratives. And the alliance is only opportunistic, and the differences have already seriously widened between the two.
But Mr. Prakash, I just want to understand, this is what we've heard time and again from the Aam Aadmi Party, the TMC and the Congress as well, that yes, they've had differences in the past, but they're ready to keep that aside. Also, issues like this will continue to come because, there are state governments at various levels, but nationally, they're ready to keep all of this aside and take on the BJP because they feel that nationally, this will have no impact of the alliance coming together.
One alliance is exposing the other alliance over their shortcomings. The people of the nation will be watching. It may be good for the alliance partners to have two different governments and be more critical about each other. But the people of the country have seen what development is in the past 10 years, how a cohesive government at the center is functioning, how developmental activities are being taken up, and this motley crowd of called UPA 3 coming together will only expose their weaknesses and their unreliability before the people of India.
Okay, Mr. Prakash, we'll have to leave that conversation there. We'll have to see the kind of reaction that comes in from the Aam Aadmi Party as well, and what this means going forward as far as the United India Alliance is concerned. We'll keep tracking all those developments. For now, slipping into a very short.
Elections have been declared from his constituency of Wayanad, and therefore his political future hinges on this. In case his conviction is not scratched, then he can no longer contest elections for at least 6 years, which means at least for 6 years he doesn't enter parliament, and that will always be like a sword hanging over his political future.
Also, Pallavi, the Supreme Court had earlier made a remark that why was a maximum sentence in this particular case was given, because defamation really attracts a 2-year of maximum sentence, and that was slapped to Rahul Gandhi. All of that is being considered today. Of course, like you're mentioning, this is a big attempt and a big day for Rahul Gandhi. It's practically going to be defining his political future, and that there are constant deliberations that are coming out of the court. And from what our colleague Ananya has been reporting, what can we expect today?
So there's more information which is coming in, and this is okay, Supreme Court stays the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. That's the big news which is coming in. Ananya Bhatnagar has just got this news for us.
This is a big breaking news, yes.
A huge relief for Rahul Gandhi.
All right, so we will just put this out for our viewers. Supreme Court has stayed the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. It's a big relief for Rahul Gandhi in the Modi surname defamation case is concerned. What has happened is the Supreme Court has decided to stay the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. So that disqualification from the parliament also now can be taken away, and there you have it. The maximum sentence was given by a Surat court, which is now being stayed by the apex court of the country. Supreme Court there staying the conviction of Rahul Gandhi. Big relief for the Congress leader. Remember, this afternoon is when the Supreme Court had started hearing the Rahul Gandhi case, where it was challenging the Gujarat High Court's verdict that declined to put a hold on his conviction in the defamation case over the Modi surname remark. Earlier this year, Rahul Gandhi was disqualified as an MP for his comments that were linked to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Remember, he had made those comments while he was in Gujarat 2 years ago, in 2019 in fact, and that defamation case was filed from I believe in Bihar, and that's where in Gujarat, and that's how the case really reached the Surat courts. And after
initially onwards that this is the maximum punishment to disqualify Rahul Gandhi from the Lok Sabha. Entire episode was started when Rahul Gandhi speak about Adani-Modi relations in Parliament. Now, Supreme Court also, I think, sir, in the interim judgment, granting stay, conviction stay, they also telling that this maximum punishment is actually something to disqualify.
Are you happy with that order, sir?
Definitely, you know that we are believing the legal procedure of this higher system. What we got from Gujarat, this is totally a different verdict.
सर सुप्रीम कोर्ट की ओर से आज जो राहत मिली है राहुल गांधी को, लंबे समय से कांग्रेस पार्टी मांग कर रही थी, क्या कहना है सर आज जो ये वर्डिक्ट आया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट का?
We will, our spokesperson will give details. Don't worry. Okay. First reaction is already we are welcoming this decision of stay of conviction.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so that was the first reaction from...
My colleague Ananya is now joining us live from outside the court premises. Ananya, there's a big piece of news for Rahul Gandhi and the supporters of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party. Next step is that he's going to be reinstated in the parliament. But right for now, the apex court staying that conviction of Rahul Gandhi that was held by all the other courts, the Gujarat High Court and before that the Surat court. Just take us through all of that that has happened inside the apex court today.
Well, definitely the Supreme Court had heard this matter for a long time today, and in fact for almost half the pre-lunch session. And very, very clearly now Rahul Gandhi has been granted that particular relief that he had been waiting for since court to court. This was his third appeal, if you remember. First it was rejected by the Gujarat Sessions Court and then by the High Court itself. And in fact the District Court had also refused to stay his conviction in that particular case, though a suspension of sentence was granted. But now finally that relief comes in for the former Congress president. Now what does it mean for Rahul Gandhi? Number one is that he can go back to the Lok Sabha Secretariat and say that, since my conviction has now been stayed in this particular case, please reinstate me as a member of the parliament. The people of Wayanad might be really happy because, he was representing the people of Wayanad, and the voice of Wayanad would be back in the parliament is what is the view, in the general public. And also, very, very importantly, Rahul Gandhi can now fight the 2024 elections. Very, very clearly, this is a big relief, a huge relief that Rahul Gandhi has been, waiting for since the last few days. Though he had, on the political spectrum, he had used this opportunity to, say, and in fact his Twitter bio also used to say that he was a disqualified MP. But now finally that disqualification can go away. He can go back to, the Lok Sabha Secretariat, can ask the Speaker and the Lok Sabha chairman to actually say that, since my conviction has now been stayed, he can be reinstated.
And Rahul Gandhi's Modi surname defamation case has reached the apex court of the country. The Supreme Court at the moment is dictating the order in that very case on the remarks. Remember, Rahul Gandhi had earlier said that it's bizarre to ask me to apologize in the Modi surname case. Today, the Supreme Court has taken up the case that has reached the apex court at the moment. They are now dictating the order. Let's take this across to my colleague Pallavi Ghosh, who's joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, this is the last-ditch attempt for Rahul Gandhi. We will get to know whether or not that entire conviction stays in this case. It's a big day for him. What are you learning that's coming out of the court?
In fact, we are waiting for the final order to come through, but my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar, who's very much inside the court, is awaiting, and he's giving us some information. And just to quote from what he has given, that basically, according to what he's reporting, is that the court has said that an appeal filed by the appellant is pending in the Sessions Court, and so far as the stake of conviction and sentencing is concerned, we have considered some factors. So we're just going to wait for what Ananya has to give us some more. But it's certainly going to be a very, very big day for Rahul Gandhi. His political future also hinges on this.
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. We want to now shift our focus to a story that you should watch very, very carefully, but it does impact a lot of people who live in high-rise buildings. In an absolutely unfortunate and horrific episode that has come to light from a high-rise building and a society in Noida, an elderly woman lost her life after the cable of the elevator that she was in fact snapped. The incident took place yesterday, somewhere around 4:30 in the evening, and the woman passed away an hour later at a hospital nearby where she was rushed but was declared dead on arrival. She had abrasions on her elbows and the back of her head as well. Residents of the society have been protesting ever since, demanding justice and proper maintenance. What is also important to note here is that there was a similar episode that happened in another lift in another tower, but the same society. But fortunately, at that time, it was empty. There was no one as far as the lift is concerned. Now, this is why you should watch this story very, very carefully. First, we're going to list out the sequence of events of what really led to this woman's death. And secondly, if you're someone who's living in a high-rise building, you should also look out for these red flags. So let me first break down the details in terms of the sequence of events. There was an elderly woman who takes a lift to the 8th floor. As I pointed out, this is now not being reported as the first episode, but a similar episode has happened in the past as well. The lift that this woman was in collapsed midway and it didn't touch the ground. What is also absolutely horrific to report here is that she got no help for a good 45 to 50 minutes. The victim, that elderly woman who was stuck in that lift which stopped midway, was rescued after a good 45 minutes, which eventually, of course, led to her unfortunate death as well. She was rushed to a nearby hospital, which, as I pointed out, reported of multiple injuries on her bodies, but it was too late for that elderly woman and for her family because she was declared dead on arrival by the doctor. So the big question is, this is a life that could have been saved. What all went wrong as far as the authorities on the ground are concerned? Let's talk to you about the big questions. And this is what I said. If you're somebody who lives in a high-rise building, these are the questions that you should be asking yourself and your society and maintenance authorities as well. The first question is, does your society have a response mechanism? Because in this case, it took a good 45 to 50 minutes for that woman to be rescued. Possibly if help came earlier, she could have been alive today. The second is, did potential negligence and lapses lead to the elevator collapse? Were there no regular checks as far as the lift and maintenance is concerned? This is something that you should take a look in your society lifts and talk to the maintenance possibly as well. The other question is, how did the earlier lift mishap go unchecked? As I pointed out, considering the fact there was a similar episode that happened a couple of days before this unfortunate incident, why was there no ground reality or checks that were done to check that all lifts were functioning in the correct manner? The other is, are lifts and high-rise buildings now becoming death traps? We don't want to scare you, but these are some questions that we should be looking at if you're somebody living in a high-rise building. We have a ground report coming in from that society as well. Let's take a look.
The horrific incident took place in tower number 24. So we have come to tower number 27 to do the inspection. So what people are telling us is that in every tower there are 2 lifts, and each tower has similar issues, that lifts come late, lifts run late, and because of which only there is overcrowding. And in many towers, one of the lifts is not working. Only one lift is functional, and so this lift belongs to Thyssen company. And when the residents inquired about from the Thyssen company that why didn't they repair the lift or perhaps maintained it, the response they got was that in the month of July the contract got over. In the month of June, 30th June, the contract got over. So there was no maintenance. So without maintenance, this lift was going on. So I would like to show how this lift looks like. It's a old lift, and this is how this lift looks like. And this
लगभग 7:15 बजे के आसपास थाना 142 पे सूचना प्राप्त हुई कि एक महिला फिनिक्स हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट है, जो पारस टीरा सोसाइटी में लिफ्ट टूटने से घायल हुई है। इस पर तत्काल मौके पर स्थानीय पुलिस हॉस्पिटल पहुंचा। हॉस्पिटल पहुंचने पर ज्ञात हुआ कि महिला की मृत्यु हो चुकी है तथा जो पंचायतनामा और पोस्टमार्टम की कार्रवाई है वो प्रारंभ कर दी गई। परिवारजनों ने बताया ये घटना लगभग 6 बजे की है लिफ्ट टूटने की, और उसके बाद हम लोग वहाँ से लिफ्ट से निकाल के इसको हॉस्पिटल लेके आए। उसके बाद पुलिस को सूचना दी। इसके क्रम में तत्काल वरिष्ठ अधिकारियों को मौके पर पहुँचने के निर्देश दे दिए गए तथा लगभग 7:45 बजे ये सूचना प्राप्त हुई कि पारस टीरा सोसाइटी में कुछ लोग जो वर्तमान अध्यक्ष हैं एओ के, उनको घेरे हुए हैं, और इस पर स्थानीय पुलिस मौके पर पहुंची तथा उनको अपनी गाड़ी में बैठाया।
सेकंड फ्लोर पे आ रही थी और अचानक लिफ्ट खराब हो गई। किसी को पता नहीं चला लिफ्ट कहाँ है, फिर घर वालों ने पता किया कहाँ गई। उनके मोबाइल पे फोन किया, शी वाज नॉट पिकिंग। इधर उधर सारा सर्च किया, इनके फैमिली मेंबर्स नहीं मिली। फिर गार्ड से पता किया, कहता है लिफ्ट खराब हो गई है। तो सबसे पहले ये हुआ कि लिफ्ट में देखो कोई है तो नहीं। ही टोल्ड कि भाई कोई है ही नहीं इसमें। तो बड़ी मशक्कत के बाद पता चला कि लिफ्ट एक ऊपर फंसी हुई है।
नहीं, मेंटेनेंस को लेकर मैं सेटिस्फाइड नहीं हूँ। यहाँ पे अभी चेंजेस भी हुए हैं। पहले पीटीओए देख रहा था, अभी एओ देख रहा है, बट कुल मिला के देखा जाए तो ओवरऑल सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं है।
नॉन मेंटेनेंस ऑफ ऑल दीज लिफ्ट्स, this is a situation in each and every tower.
Okay.
So there have been regular complaints with the AOA that these need to be repaired. However, as per our information which got today, on 30th of June, the AMC contract with Thyssen has ended. And obviously, the AOA has not taken any steps leading to this drastic incident which happened yesterday.
We are also now opening our call-in lines. We are asking, this lift collapse that has killed this elderly woman, is there negligence behind their death? And we are also asking our viewers, if you live in a high-rise building, have you faced something similar, being stuck in a lift before? Numbers flashing on our screen, 0120-434-1895. We would love to hear from you. I'll repeat the number, 0120 434-1895. Let's before that bring in our colleague Siddhant, who in fact was on ground zero to try and understand what really led to this elderly woman losing her life. Siddhant, you were there in the society. Now, what is even more unfortunate is that there was a similar episode that happened a couple of days ago, but there was no action that was taken. What are authorities within the society saying when a similar episode happened? Why were there no checks and balances done?
Well, there was no checks and balances at all. And in fact, society was taken over by AOA. Happens to be equivalent to the RWA in any society. So that particular AOA is not responsible at all. And in fact, residents have been telling us that they made several complaints related to the lift. And Ridhima, interestingly, the lifts are running slow. One lift in each tower is non-functional. The other lift usually gets overcrowded. And in fact, in tower number 27, there was a free fall few days back, and that complaint was lodged to the AOA. But despite that, no action was taken. So this woman, 73 years old woman, and I would like to describe this for our viewers, that lift did not fell down. Lift, instead of that, went upwards. Upwards from 8th floor, it went to 23rd floor suddenly in speed. And because of which possibly the senior citizen suffered cardiac arrest. And for 45 minutes she was inside the lift. Lift doesn't have telephone facility. Lift doesn't have alarms. Lift also doesn't have CCTVs. And this is the reason that for 45 minutes nobody had clue that where the woman is. Then watchman came rushing, telling the family that the lift is not functional. Maybe she could be inside that. And then they opened it. That woman was already passed away.
It was too late in the day by the time some sort of action took place. Here's hoping that this will be a rude reminder for authorities on the ground. Siddhant, we'll have to leave that conversation there. We have to quickly shift our focus to some other breaking developments now. And this is as far as the situation in Nu is concerned. This is also something that the Home Minister of Haryana, Anil Vij, had told us here at News 18 earlier in the day, that there will be bulldozer action against those who were involved in violence and vandalism. And this is exactly what we are now seeing being played out as well. Bulldozers are being rolled in Nu against these culprits. Anshul is joining us on the broadcast. Anshul, as I pointed out earlier in the day, Anil Vij in fact had spoken to us here exclusively and confirmed exactly this, that if needed, bulldozers will be used as well. Could you talk to us about what's happening on the ground?
So yes, the UP model now being followed in Haryana as well. But yes, this bulldozer action is now happening at Nazar Chowk. Now remember, Nazar Chowk is the place where the incident initially started, because the temple, the Nalar Mahadev temple, is very close to this location, approximately 2.5 kilometers from this location. And this was the route through which this procession was supposed to be taken out. And it is only at this place where the entire incidence of violence, where approximately 60 to 70 vehicles were torched by rioters. And now the visuals that we are seeing on our screens right now is from Nazar Chowk, and these are illegal encroachments, is what the government claims, is what the authority claims, and hence it is needed to be removed. Although the authority is saying that it has nothing to do with the riots that have broken out, but since these people had encroached government land, hence they had to be removed. But yes, the timing of this action is definitely very, very questionable, and hence this action that has been taken against raises the questions on the administration and the government as to if the investigation has still not been completed. How can such action be taken against anyone?
Anshul, we'll have to leave that conversation there. Thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Some ground reports coming in as well.
We are learning that the bulldozer action has started against the illegal intruders who were also a part of the violence which broke out few days back in the Nu district. So as of now, what we have been given to understand that this drive took place yesterday, and these were the people who were residing in some of the places which were of the government land. So now it has been cleaned up. The process is currently underway. This has been done on the direction which has been given by the Chief Minister of the state of Haryana, Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar, all the way from the Chandigarh place. So this is currently which is underway, and also this is a message which is being given out by the state government that if any of the people, if they are involved in this kind of activity, then the action will be taken as per the course of law. And further we have been informed that they were illegally residing on the land of the government in particular, which was the piece of land provided by the state government, and they were the illegal intruders. And the exact role of the the accused, it has to be verified properly by the district administration as well.
चलाया गया है क्या? देखिए ऐसा है कि वो जो अवैध संपत्तियां हैं जो कि किसी HSBT की लैंड पर कब्जा था, उसके ऊपर ही कार्रवाई की गई थी। तो निश्चित तौर पर जो है सरकार इसके लिए सख्त कार्रवाई कर रही है। देखिए बहुत सारे अकाउंट्स जो हमारे पास विभिन्न चैनलों से, जैसे कि विभिन्न सोर्सेज से, एजेंसीज से हमारे पास आ रहे हैं। हमारे खुद की भी जो सोशल मीडिया टीम है वो लगी हुई है और उन सभी को हम एनालाइज कर रहे हैं और उनमें हमने 10 FIR जैसे की भी हैं। काफ़ी सारे लिंक्स उसमें हमने उनको कवर किया है। बाकी बच्चों पे हम अभी भी एनालिसिस हमारा लगातार चल रहा है। 25 लोगों की टीम लगातार हमारी काम कर रही है इसके ऊपर। साथ के साथ जितने भी CCTV फुटेज हैं, मोबाइल की जो वीडियोज़ हैं, जो भी इंक्रिमिनेटिंग एविडेंस है, उसको भी हम वीडियो एनालिटिक्स कर रहे हैं।
Good evening, I'm Reha Atul and you're watching Viewpoint. The Supreme Court today stayed the conviction of Congress leader Rahul Gandhi in the defamation case against him for alleged remarks against the Modi surname, something that had led to his disqualification as the Lok Sabha MP. Gandhi's plea was challenging the Gujarat High Court order that refused to stay his conviction. The Supreme Court, in fact, made some key observations today while granting Rahul Gandhi the relief. First, it noted that the trial court had not given reasons for awarding the maximum punishment of 2 years to the Congress leader. So the Gujarat High Court's July 7th observation declining to stay Gandhi's conviction that claimed quote-unquote the offence committed by the accused falls in the category of moral turpitude and that the need of the hour is to have quote-unquote purity in politics did not cut any ice with the apex court. Secondly, it believed that only because the maximum sentence was awarded, provisions of the Representation of People Act came into play and Rahul was disqualified, adding that the provision would not have been attracted had the sentence been a day lesser. With these observations, the Supreme Court maintained that the ramifications of the order are wide and affect not only the petitioner's right to continue in public life but also that of the electorate which has elected him. Now, even though an order of stay, of course, does not render the conviction non-existent, but only non-operative as explained by the court, this does mean that Rahul Gandhi's disqualification now stands reversed. The notification by the House Secretariat, though, does cease to be in effect, which means that Rahul Gandhi not only returns to the parliament, but is also going to be participating in the no confidence motion discussion. Now, is that a big boost to the India alliance? Or is this return of Rahul Gandhi going to unsettle a few satraps within the big union? That's the big question that we are asking today.
आज नहीं तो कल, कल नहीं तो परसों सच्चाई की जीत होती है। मेरा रास्ता तो क्लियर है, मुझे क्या करना है, मेरा क्या काम है, उसके बारे में मेरे दिमाग में बिल्कुल क्लैरिटी है।
डेमोक्रेसी की जीत हो गई, संविधान की जीत हो गई, सत्यमेव जयते।
हम अब संसद में उत्सुकता से जनता से जुड़े मुद्दों पर श्री राहुल गांधी को और श्री राहुल गांधी की बुलंद आवाज सुनने के लिए तैयार हैं। फिर से चलेगी सवालों की आंधी जब संसद में लौटेंगे राहुल गांधी।
Let me first begin by welcoming senior advocate Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani, who today appeared for the complainant Mr. Purnesh Modi in the Supreme Court. Mr. Jethmalani, thank you so much for joining us. Now, looking at the judgment now, would you call this a huge setback, in fact, to the winning streak, with the complainant winning this so far in all the lower courts?
Oh no, I have. You mean Purnesh Modi has? Yeah. The defamation case, which has been, I had nothing to do with the lower court proceedings. I came for the first time to the Supreme Court. But yeah, I mean, it's not a big setback because the court has basically kept all issues open, and the matter has been expedited. It's before the Sessions Court. So I think it's a very good case for conviction. On the question of sentence, lawyers for the complainant will have to bring better grounds to get a 2-year sentence. But it's certainly a case for conviction and a jail sentence.
Okay, so technically this does mean an automatic reinstatement of Rahul Gandhi in the Lok Sabha as the notification by the House Secretariat ceases to be in effect after this conviction has been stayed, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no application of mine now. He was disqualified because of a conviction